I am the only person here. There's no shadow. And I just love that. I love being alone in the park. It's nice to have company too, but I find it so peaceful. So I think this is gonna be it with this big tree here. I'm going to set up here on camera, and one handy thing is I leave all of my attachments that pull out my bars loose when I put them in my plein air bag. So that way when I come out, they just come shooting out, and then I can adjust, and then I tighten the lower ones first, and then I can tighten the top ones as I find that right place, because you're never on even ground. I mean, rarely. If you're in a park, sometimes you get lucky and you're on even ground. So these canvas are coming up about halfway. These ones are a little further up. I want my tree to be kind of off center, but not quite. This first rock comes about halfway here. I forgot my water. Spit, looks just as good. The reason why I don't use an eraser on my canvas is it makes a mess that can create it's almost like a oily barrier between the canvas and paint, so the paint might actually start to bead off of it. Water works somewhat well, but spit does make a pretty good eraser. I think that it's time to start on my wash. So this funky mess is going to be my underdrawing. So here's my messy palette. Some people have glorious clean palettes and they do beautiful meticulous work. Congratulations. My palette is just not really clean. It's getting really hard to tell the color of the sky right now. I'm just gonna Portland gray it. I'm seeing a lot of light coming through. It's just like catching the light coming in. There's just a lot of green happening. Just all over the place. where the sun's coming through the branches, I'm seeing a lot of sort of orange. And I'm gonna I am going to explain the color wash as well as I can. There is many ways to start and finish a painting. So one of the ways to start a painting, if you're wanting to make it a two-step process, is to create a color wash. And this is a very thinned out layer of paint, and it is color. So it may not be the color you're intending to finish the painting as. Sometimes it's a bit warmer than your final painting because you want some of that color wash coming through, but it's like marking the spot where you want the final painting to be and an approximation of the color. So the color wash should always be thinned with solvent. You don't necessarily want to put any sort of oil or medium in it just because you don't want to break your fat over lean rule, and that is going to cause cracking or make your painting final surface not adhere to your color wash if there's too much oil in it. It's usually done very quickly. You can take as long as you want doing it, but when you're painting on location, you really have to consider time. Don't get too attached to where things are, and don't create too many hard lines unless you're intending to bring that hard line into the final painting. I find oak trees are the hardest trees to paint, particularly this type of Gary oak. Sometimes the way that the branches are built are a bit nonsensical, and you can't really predict how they're going to twist and turn, but that's one of the things that makes them so beautiful. They're just really interesting, and particularly with a sunset in the background coming through, there's just something really magical is kind of a weak word, but I can't think of anything else. They're magical and really speak to something primal, I guess, because I feel like they often represent strength, but they're also not perfect. They're very gnarly and unmanicured. I'm getting really motivated here because the mosquitoes are out. I did stop and give myself a little spray, but they don't seem to care. There's certain people that mosquitoes love, and I'm one of those people. Very popular with mosquitoes. Basically, with a color wash, what I'm doing is preparing the surface for the next step. So you don't want to make anything too detailed, too blended. You really want to make a primed surface that is going to permit your next layer to breathe. And what I say by breathing is you're letting some of that color wash come through and create some interest in your surface. Like you may have an area of wash that's still coming through, and that's something I love to do in a painting. It kind of gives the impression of detail, but it also like looks like painting. And that's just a matter of personal taste. Some people like to really bring a painting to a high resolve, and that's just a matter of taste. So if that's your taste, go for it. If you want to just put in a couple slashes of paint, go for it. Or if you want to come out and make something completely abstract that represents your reaction to the natural space that you're in, that's also okay too. There's so many styles of painting, and I feel like the most important thing to keep in mind is to have an objective. And you're probably not ever going to meet the objective completely, but to honor your experience of being outside and really enjoying the moment without thinking of a whole lot of external factors. Like, you're there to make a painting, and you kind of have to block out a lot of distractions when you're outside painting. That's just part of painting outside. It really helps you make decisions quickly and efficiently. It's good to know I have about an hour of working time, but it is. It's not bad. I feel like when you pan down, the colors are good. I really struck the placement of where I want things to be, but I also left a lot of movement. So one thing I think I will do is just knock down some of these more solid edges. I don't want anything to be truly set in place, because when I come back I'll do a more detailed observation, so these things may end up getting moved a little bit.